Joining me is Senator Rick Scott of Florida, who is the incoming head of the National Republican Senatorial Committee. He also knows Georgia very well since it abuts Florida. Good morning, Senator. Welcome. It's good to have you.
Good morning. I was down in Georgia on Friday campaigning with Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. I think we're going to have a big win there because Warnock said you cannot serve God and the military. I mean, if we don't have our defense, we don't have the First Amendment. I mean, ask how many churches are getting opened up in China right now. They're getting torn down. So, Kelly Loeffler's opponent is a Marxist. He's called the police thugs. He is not where Georgians are. So
let me play that for the audience, Senator Scott. Cut number 4. This is Raphael Warnock giving a sermon in 2011.
America, nobody can serve God and the military.
All right. I also want to slip down to Raphael Warnock at Howard University in 2016. Cut number 6.
Will the black church, which Manning Marable rightly characterized as a politically ambiguous institution, yet possesses what Gayrard Wilmore, who is here, rightly characterized as a cohesive thread of radicalism, live up to the best of its prophetic vocation? Or will it give in to the seduction that has garnered for Mr. Trump, an admitted sexual predator, the support of 81% of white evangelicals and 60% of white Catholics? Perhaps more than anything else, we have seen in modern times the rise of Trump and Trumpism on the shoulders of Christians brings into sharp focus the moral bankruptcy of the American church.
So, Senator Scott, the moral bankruptcy of the American church, the assertion you can't serve God and be in the U.S. military. I mean, do Georgians hear this? Or because I've had Georgians call me and tell me their airwaves are flooded with Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, who is AOC light propaganda.
Oh, well, that's why, I've had 3 tough statewide elections. You've got to raise your money. You got to get your message out. You got to tell people, here's the difference. If you want to vote for a Republican, David Perdue or Kelly Loeffler, then you're going to vote for lower taxes, less government, better schools, more school choice. We're going to support the law enforcement. We're going to support the military. Or you can vote for the Democrats. Here's what you're going to get if you vote for the Democrats. You're going to get them packing the Supreme Court, which will infringe of our First Amendment rights and our Second Amendment rights. You're going to get them to do Medicare for all, which means that you're going to ruin, one, the Medicare program, 2, kick people off their private health care insurance plan. You're going to have the Green New Deal, which will cost us almost $100 trillion and kill our economy. You're going to have reduced funding for the law enforcement, and you're going to have socialism. So the choice is pretty clear. In Florida, in Georgia, when I talk to people, they care about jobs, good education, which means parental choice, and then they want safe community. So it's a real choice. And I think Kelly and David Loeffler are going to get the message out.
Now, Senator, I got to talk to you in your capacity as incoming chairman of the National Republican Senate Committee. One of my regular listeners is Urban Meyer. Coach Meyer is the finest football coach in America. And he has to go out when he's coaching. God save us if he goes to USC. He has to find a quarterback. He's got to go recruit kids when they're in high school. You have to go recruit in New Hampshire, in Arizona, in North Carolina, in Nevada, in Pennsylvania. What are you looking for? And you know what? They don't recruit just one QB because they might go elsewhere. They recruit 2, 3, or 4. Who are you talking to? How you do that?
Well, what you do is you go talk to people, and here's what I believe about people. If you want to win a race, you got to have a real purpose. This has got to be in your gut. You have to say, I am doing this because I am absolutely committed to making sure this is a great place for my kids and my grandkids and every kid and every grandkid. That's number 1. Number 2, can you prove to people that you care about them? Can you prove to people that you're competent? Will you go do all the things you have to? You have to raise money. You have to do grassroots. You have to go give speeches. You have to do everything. You can't just do one part of it. If you want to win, that's what you have to do. If you look at why Donald Trump did so well in Florida, it's because his campaign and he did and all of us did. We did all those things together, and that's why he had a big win. That's what I'm going to look for, people that want to do that.
Now, let me ask you, you were a governor before you were a senator, so you actually got stuff done. I love it when governors run for Senate. I love it when, for example, you have a Governor Sununu in New Hampshire or a Governor Ducey in Arizona. If they would simply consider, will they at least talk to you about it?
I think they will. I know Chris and Doug really well. I served with them as a governor, and they've done a really good job as governors. And I think they want to serve this country. So I'm gonna talk to them and others, and we're gonna make sure that we can, we can win. We can. If you look at it, the Democrats have become a coastal party, right? They're not a national party anymore. We are. And if you look at a lot of these states that are controlled by Democrats, they're fed up with their government. So I think we've got opportunities all across the country. I'm going to talk to people all across the country and do everything we can to keep a majority and expand our majority.
Now, on the donor side, a lot of donors are leery of polling. They don't really know what to believe now because we now know that polling was broken. Did the NRSC have good polls? Did you know where it was going to be close, where it wasn't going to be close, where to put the money? Do you trust your techs?
Yeah, none of the polls are perfect. All the outside polls in my races were generally all 4 to 7 points in my 3 races, but our internal polls were right on. So you find good pollsters. You use different ones across the country. You use different ones by state, so you get a variety of backgrounds from people. We knew where our problems were, knew where our opportunities are. We'll know the same thing with this, and we'll know where we should invest our dollars.
Now, I also tell people, and I have for years, if you're a Democrat, give to the Democrat Senatorial Committee because they actually won't waste your money. I have always said if you want to control the Senate, which is the most important ongoing body in the world, it's an ongoing body. It does not dissolve and restart. It's not like the presidency. It's an ongoing. If you want to support a Republican conservative majority, give to the nrsc.org.
Yeah.
How was fundraising this cycle, and what are your goals for the next cycle?
Todd Young and Kevin McLaughlin, who did it this time, Senator Todd Young from Indiana, they did a great job, and that's why we did well. We wish we could have kept Arizona and Colorado. We weren't able to, but look at what Susan Collins did up in Maine, and we're in a good position to win these 2 races in Georgia and keep a majority. So Chuck Schumer, I think had already picked out his curtains for a majority office, and he's not going to be there. We're gonna win these races. So it's, the way you look at it is you sort of have to assume that the amount of money it's going to take, either in the campaigns or the NRSC, is going to have to be about 50% every election cycle. That's what it's growing. It seems like it's growing really fast. And so you have to assume you're probably going to have to increase your fundraising. But the biggest money that you can give is actually to the campaign. They can spend it the best. And so the first thing I want to do is make sure all of our candidates become really good fundraisers for their campaign accounts. I'm going to still do everything I can to make sure we raise money at the NRSC, but the most important money goes to the campaign account.
Now, talk to me a little bit about expanding the map. I saw an article where you talked about Illinois, and I clapped because Illinois has elected Republican senators before, and not that long ago. You can actually win in Illinois because it's fallen apart in Chicago. Is there anyone who's willing to take on that kind of a challenge? Because if you can expand the map there in Nevada, that is a great cycle ahead.
We're getting calls from people all over the country that want to run. And so I think we're going to have great candidates all over the country. I think we're going to raise money. You got to do all the things. You have to recruit great candidates. They've got to run good races. We got to raise your money. You got to do the grassroots. It's just go look at what Trump did in Florida. That's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do it in as many states as possible. But it starts with having a good candidate. But if you look at these Democrats-controlled states, people are fed up with their government. It's failed them. I mean, look at Chicago. Look at the shootings. Look at their budget. I mean, the Democrats have ruined a beautiful state. That's where I was born, actually, and they just ruined it. Everybody wants to move. So many of them are moving to Florida, and a lot of them moving to the West Coast, where I live in Florida.
Now, in terms of getting that part done, when someone is thinking about it, self-funders always are attractive, but sometimes it doesn't work. They got to actually have knowledge of government. How do you test for that, Senator Rick Scott? How do you figure out if someone knows how to govern?
So, Hugh, the first thing I ask them is, give me your pitch of why you're doing this. And I tell people, if in your gut you don't have a real driving purpose for helping others, it's going to come across that you don't. So the first thing you have a real driving purpose. Then you've got to become knowledgeable about the issues, and you've got to be willing to work 24 hours a day. I mean, you got to work all the time to get elected. Just go back and look at Susan Collins. In a blue state, she won by 9. because Susan worked her tail off every day. It just shows you what the opportunity is. So we're talking to people all over the country. I think we're gonna be able to not only keep our incumbents in all those, but I think we're going to be able to expand the map in 22. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have 2 big wins in Georgia.
Last question. My buddy Rob Portman is up. Now, people would look at that and say, oh, he won by so much 6 years ago. He's a likely. You really can't sleep on a lead, can you?
No, you look at how much money these people raise through act. Look at what did Mitch McConnell's opponent raise $100 million. $100 million. I think Lindsey Graham's opponent raised $100 million, $50 million in 1 quarter. No, that's why I'm going to be talking to all of our candidates, all of our incumbents, and anybody that wants to run and say, you have got to go raise money. Now, it's not the only thing you have to do, but you have to be competitive. You've got to be able to get your message out.
Well, you've got a poster candidate in Rob Portman. I've never seen anyone work as hard as Rob Portman works, but that's exactly, and you do. Yeah, hard workers. And Tom Cotton, guys like you, and I think of just terrific candidates up and down our belt, like Susan Collins. They never stop working. Not in the year that they win. They just keep working.
Right, and that's why you look at Chuck Grassley. Every year he visits all his counties.
Yeah,
that's why he keeps winning.
The full Grassley.